Welcome to Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. I'm JJ Flazanes, your host. Welcome to the show, and thank you for downloading today's episode. If you enjoyed today's show, I'd love for you to share it, but I'd even more appreciate, and we're going to love getting into the vibrational difference between gratitude and appreciation today. I'd really appreciate a rating and review on iTunes. So just go to iTunes and rate the show, review it, and let me know what you think about it to keep us going. And again, thank you for being here. For those of you that used to listen to the Fit to Love podcast, I've been on a little bit of a hiatus because I launched my third book, The Invisible Fitness Formula, 5 Secrets to Release Weight and End Body Shame. And you can find out more about that, as well as take the weight loss resistance quiz to see if you have any of the factors that create weight loss resistance. Come on over to invisiblefitness.com and check those out. Again, that's invisiblefitness.com. So I hope you enjoyed today's show. Today's show, gratitude versus appreciation. I've been following the work of Abraham Hicks for about 10 years now, and being it's a Freedom Friday, today is the day we talk about spirituality and law of attraction. And about 3 or 4 years ago, I attended a live event where a gentleman in the room got called on, and he asked a question about the vibrational difference between gratitude and appreciation. So once I had heard that, I made sure to change the practice that I currently do and that I have been doing for 7 years to exchange my words. Instead of saying the word gratitude, I started saying appreciation, and I appreciate. And what I notice when I hear other people talk about gratitude is I can actually feel the vibrational difference between the two words. However, gratitude is a really hot topic. It's a hot word. People look for it, they understand it, they feel good about it. And not that I haven't used it. I have a gratitude journal, and I have very positive feelings about my gratitude journal because of what it's done for me in my relationship, what it's done for me in my life. Now, I wouldn't mind changing it to the appreciation journal, but just because it's such a commonly used word, I've kept it gratitude journal. So part of me wanted to share the audio bit that I have about Abraham explaining the difference, but I thought I might be violating some kind of copyright issue, so I had it transcribed, and I'm going to read it to you. So the man's question was, can you explain quickly the vibrational difference between gratitude and appreciation? And this is the response. A lot of people use the words interchangeably and really think that we're splitting hairs, but we notice a vibrational difference because you have to understand that words are unimportant to us. We hold vibrational knowledge that as we hear people use words, we're able to measure the vibrational frequency that they're holding as they use that word. So we notice a distinct different vibration when a person is using the word appreciation than when a person uses the word gratitude, and for this reason. When someone is talking about something they're grateful for in this moment, usually they're speaking of some difficulty that they have had to overcome for which they are grateful. But the difficulty is dominant in the vibration. So while you're using the word, the resistance is active as you use the word. A person who is speaking of appreciation is usually speaking of something that's in the vortex. In other words, the frequencies are remarkably different. Same sort of application outside the vortex versus inside the vortex. And of course, that's not always the case. You could be using a word while you're inside the vortex that you are unaccustomed to. But when you say, I'm grateful, doesn't it usually make you think about something you've overcome? I'm grateful that I no longer work there. I'm grateful that I'm no longer married to that person. I'm grateful that I've overcome this difficulty. But when you use the word appreciation, you don't. It's usually not, I appreciate not living with that person anymore. It's usually, I'm so appreciative of the life that I'm living. You get the distinction? That's a big distinction. So I wanted to share that with you because if you are someone who is using the word grateful often, just pay attention to and start thinking about what images come to mind when you use the word grateful. Are you indeed speaking of an event or a person or a thing that you have had to overcome in order to feel grateful? And how much of the energy of that thing or that contrast or that person or that negativity is in the vibration when you say grateful. Do a slight practice of appreciation and start, because I think they can be used interchangeably. I have a meetup group that is local, that is based on spiritual principles and self-exploration and growing as people, both on a spiritual path and, of course, in this lifetime. And I brought this topic up at one of our meetings, and I found it really interesting to hear different people's points of view, to see what kind of practices people are doing, because it's really about focus. Law of attraction and your life actually is all about focus. Where are you looking? What are you looking at? What are the feelings and stories that are coming up for you as you're looking at that? And for any of you that listened to last week's Freedom Friday, you probably heard that I have been dealing with the death of my cat. Now, he hasn't left us yet, but he's almost there. He is right in between getting ready to transition. And what I realized yesterday, while I was speaking with an animal whisperer who I will have on the show, Renee McDuffie, she's awesome. Renee walked me through an exercise where I got to stand back away from the situation that I was in and look at it from a different perspective. And what she reminded me of is that I have been completely out of the vortex, completely out of alignment, completely in fear and pain when I look at this situation, even though I completely know with every fiber of my being that death doesn't exist. Yes, our physical body no longer is active, but we as souls, we as energy are always pure positive energy. So I know that. I have no question in my mind. So what I was really amazed by is how much I know this and practice it, yet for almost a week now, I've been completely out of it. I have given it lip service, but not actually activated my focus. I've been focusing on what I'm going to lose. I've been focusing on what I've been missing, or how I've been robbed of time, or how people are judging what's going on right now and have opinions that are in my head and that I'm allowing them to sway how I feel or what I'm thinking about or what I'm focused on. And so within a couple minutes, I could actually stand back and refocus on the love, on the eternalness of this, of the soul contract that Doc and I have, and what it's about, and his role, and what he's waiting for, and what I'm supposed to be learning from this, and the love that I do feel. And once I could get myself out of the story, out of my head, with an open heart in a trusting, understanding, connective, expanded way with the universe, I felt much better, and I felt better ever since. Does that mean I'm still not sad? Of course not, because he's in transition. But I have a different perspective with it now. And even a week ago, when it first happened, I still played my appreciation game. And a week ago, it sounded like this. I appreciate that I work for myself and that I'm able to take the time off and rearrange my schedule and be flexible with the ways I deliver my work with my clients, Skype versus in person, so that I can be here for him during this time. I appreciate that I've had 9.5 years with him. I appreciate that I have been able to avoid the vet or taking him and traumatizing him any further. I appreciate the weather. I appreciate that he's been able to go outside. I appreciate that last Thursday night he ate a little bit and he rolled around on the ground and he seems to be fine. Yes, he's dying. He has cancer, but he isn't struggling. He looks just tired but comfortable. He isn't suffering. I appreciate going through this experience of having him transition naturally. So that was a week ago. And this has been a really challenging week in many ways, but such an important lesson for me. Such an important lesson. And what I appreciate now is the time I've had. It's going to be a week, and I appreciate that maybe this process was to give me that time to grieve with him, to acknowledge him, to allow him, to focus on him. I was asked if I was going to get back to my life, and I said, this is my life. I don't feel like I'm being robbed of my life because I've chosen to stay here with him. I'd be here with a child. I'd be here with my husband. I'd be here for my family. I'd be here for a friend. So I appreciate this experience and all it's teaching me. I appreciate that even though I've been upset that I feel robbed of a few years of a life that I thought he was going to be living, I appreciate that he's giving me this blessing of being with me for this long and not forcing me, but allowing me an opportunity to spend time with him. So I use appreciation, or you can say gratitude, whichever works best for you. I would encourage you, though. I've listened to people play with me. I do a game on the phone with people, with friends, and one of my friends, we've been doing it literally for 7 years, almost every day. And the reason is, when I speak in person and I talk about the power of positive thinking, if you are someone who calls people because something bad has happened to you and you repeat that story, you have a very practiced way of responding. It's almost like a reaction. You're reactionary. Something happens. Oh my God, I have to tell 10 people. And then you repeat the story 10 times. So we are a very well rehearsed culture of what's going wrong. We are a very rehearsed culture on why should I be afraid? And in order to change that, because that vibration of fear and anxiety and anger, that's not happiness. You can't be happy. You're not going to feel good while you're in that place. And so when I explain it to people in person, I talk about if you had a 5-pound weight in one hand and a 10-pound weight in the other hand, and you did the same amount of reps, which one would be stronger? Well, the one with more weight in it. Or if you just exercised one side and didn't do the other, which side would be stronger? The side that you exercise. Well, consider your right and left hand representative of you focused on the problem or you appreciating what you do have. And the more you practice the appreciation side, the more you have to appreciate. The faster it is, the easier it is to get into that vibrational tone. I can quickly transform all kinds of emotions and things that are going on, which makes me very resilient for coping with things like this. And again, even though I've allowed myself, I have cried like a baby. I have my heart and my body have just grieved on such a soul level for days. But I also know that's what I've needed. That's what I've wanted. That's what I've created space for. I've wanted to express and release any of this pain that has come up from the ideas and the stories that I've told myself. And when you look at my little baby, he's just looking at me like, I'm just tired. Leave me alone. I'm happy in the grass. I'm happy lying down. And I want to give him that dignity of being able to cross and transition on his own terms, without any weird people coming here, without being in a box and being in a car and taking him to a strange place. He's bit me before in the past. Like, I'm not coming out of the box. It's so shocking and traumatic for him. So I appreciate this experience for him and for me. I have some feedback to share from other people that do a gratitude and appreciation game. But before we get to that, I do need to take a break and thank our sponsors. Do you struggle with weight loss and body image? Are you turned off by most of the fitness industry because of the external focus on how you look? Me too. My latest book, The Invisible Fitness Formula, 5 Secrets to Release Weight and End Body Shame, is about connecting mind, body, and soul. Imagine discovering a proven formula for total wellness so you can finally release the weight and experience true happiness and deep fulfillment without starving or depriving yourself or working out 7 days a week. You can stick to a program and get results and enjoy it without calorie counting, logging your exercise, and falling off the wagon, and I can show you how. The Invisible Fitness Formula, 5 Secrets to Release Weight and End Body Shame, will address every single part of your body, mind, and soul. There's been something missing in the programs you've done in the past, and there still is something that's been sabotaging your efforts. Heal it, transform it, and release it. InvisibleFitness.com. So I want to know, do you practice appreciation or gratitude? And how do you do it? Like I've said, I have done many different things. One of the things that I do every day is the phone call, and it's not always every day, 7 days a week. Sometimes it's 5 days a week. Sometimes it's 3 days a week. And when I first started the calling, I would do it 3 or 4 times in a day to the same person. Because at that point, there were only 2 of us doing the game. Now I have a whole bunch of people to do the game. So I may repeat the story or find new things to say. And I feel like I give a lot of time and lip service and energy towards appreciation. And what's really fun about the process is it's about milking the good stuff. So what I've noticed is when you get into that mindset and you can actually focus on anything you appreciate right now about your life. And I am 100% sure that no matter what is going on in your life, you can find at least 3 or 5 things. My cat is dying. My baby, who I didn't think would leave me for another couple of years. And I can still appreciate that I work for myself, that I live where I live, that I can take care of him in the way that I am, that he's had a good life, that he's laying in the grass right now, that my husband's being extremely supportive, and that I am allowing myself to grieve and giving myself that time. So there are still things that you can find, that I'm breathing, that I'm healthy. There's always something you can turn and focus on to appreciate. I'd also recommend using some kind of list. At night, I used to do a gratitude list. I would take whatever was going on with my relationships or with any kind of circumstance that I was unhappy with, and I would write what I appreciated about it. Now, this may feel like a stretch to some of you because you're like, well, the point is I don't like what's going on. Right, but how do we take what's going on and make it work for us? If you don't like what's going on, why do you think it's here? How's it serving you? How's it growing you? What about it is it shining a light on for you? So for instance, let's say, well, here's one. So what's happened with this situation with Doc is that I've really, really appreciated this show and the fact that I've been doing this show, and I've been doing this show as a creative outlet for myself as well as an education for everybody who's listening. Eventually, it might be my only business. From this, I'll be able to create other kinds of products and programs. But what's been going on with Doc has really shown me how important the work I'm doing with you is right now. It's so important. The flexibility of doing my own show, of being able to come to you through your ears, from my microphone, in my office, any time of the day or night, anywhere in the world. This is what I need to do for my life. If this was a child, I'd be doing the same thing, and I need that flexibility. I want, crave, and yearn for this flexibility, the creative outlet for myself as well as the business side of it. So I've taken the situation to really shine the light on what it's showing me and being grateful and appreciating how clearly I understand what I need right now. I wanted to share a few quick testimonials about some of these law of attraction appreciation games. Again, like I said, I do one that's verbal on the phone, and it's not about talking to the person, it's leaving messages. And it's really milking the good stuff so that when something happens, you just bathe in it, you bask in it, you talk about it, you acknowledge it, you practice sharing the good stuff instead of calling someone to complain. And again, there's the gratitude journal, and then there's just reframing, using gratitude and appreciation to reframe. And it may start off with, I am grateful I no longer am married to that person, but I appreciate the lessons that I learned from this. I appreciate what is coming next. I appreciate my freedom. I appreciate my vibrance. I appreciate my commitment to myself. So you can use them to leverage where you are now to where you want to be, into a better feeling place. So this first testimonial comes from someone who's listened to these Freedom Friday shows, and she said, wow, JJ, I just listened to a few of your Freedom Friday episodes, and I'm so uplifted, inspired, and motivated. Between you, Moira, Kelly, Adelaide, and Eleanor, everything is possible. You're all amazing. The experience of listening to these messages has reminded me of who I truly am, and has given me new and reminded me of known ammunition that is motivating me to the next level of my evolution. The last few years have been incredibly challenging and pushed me to the very edge. Finding my way back to my true self has been a struggle. Only through trust and listening to messages from my higher power, I've managed to make it through. Thank you, by the way, for imagining and creating such a powerful venue of expression and community. Congratulations on its success. I miss this community and want more of it. I appreciated this message very much because I want to hear from you. I don't know if you get that because maybe I haven't been doing as many solo shows recently as I did in season 1. But for those of you that are new to the community, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I want to know you. I want to know you. And so let me know how I can best get to know you and what it is that you need and what interests you and what you're loving and what you want more of. Would a Facebook group, a private Facebook group for the Fit to Love community be something you're interested in? I haven't created it yet, but I'm happy to do so. So let me know somehow, some way, maybe on the show notes of this page, or you can send me an email, info@invisiblefitness.com, and let me know. Would asking a question on an audio program and then having me replay your voice on a show be of interest to you? I've got a few more testimonials here, but would you like to call in or have a recording that's easy for you to do on my website that you could leave me a message or ask me a question and have it answered so you can share the show with others and hear it all around the world? Let me know. So here's another testimonial from one of the people in my group. He says, "Hi, JJ. I really like this exercise because it provides a clearly structured focus for thinking about things in my life that I am grateful for. The result is a noticeable shift in my awareness and an uplifted perspective." That's from Ravi Wilkie. I got another one. "The appreciation game has shifted my life by bringing me an awareness that I am so much, have so much, and give so much. Playing this game daily reminds me that I already have everything I desire as I give thanks for it. My life works. I'm appreciating my life, my friends, and even my so-called adversaries, knowing I am bringing all these experiences in my life to grow into a transformed spiritual being. I appreciate you, JJ, and my life." And that's from Echo Allen Burning, who is one of the people that I play with. And then we've got one more. "When I embody the energy of appreciation, I notice that I'm also embodying the energy of acceptance, and I feel at peace and at ease because I'm in the flow. Appreciation rises from love. It softens me and relieves me of the need to control, which always rises from fear and results in resistance, which stands in the way of the natural flow of goodness and abundance that is ours to claim very easily." And that's from Sacred Heart Reiki Mastery with Karen Rose Ayala. So I'd love to hear from you now. I'd love to hear about your appreciation practices or gratitude practices and how they work for you, and when you do them, what happens, and have you found a practice that serves you better? I used to drive a lot, so the game of calling somebody and leaving a message and being in that vibration of appreciation for however long I'd have on their voicemail, anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes, that activates in me, again, that focus, that awareness, and that love, and that open-heartedness from which then I get to attract more of that. So I'd love to hear from you. I would love if you could come over to iTunes, if you haven't already, and subscribe to the show, of course. Subscribe so that you get all the shows. And if it's something that doesn't interest you, you can always delete it. But at least then if you subscribe, you know you'll always get it, and you won't forget. And we'll be right there waiting for you to help inspire and uplift you. And also, while you're over at iTunes, if you could give the show a rating and review, I would appreciate that very, very much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you listening to the show. I appreciate that you're on this journey with me. I appreciate that this interests you, because I know for some people, a lot of this work is very powerful. I think I have a lot of great guests, and I only put shows on that are of interest to me. I only put guests on that are of interest to me that I know personally, or that I've worked with, or that I've read their book, or I've seen them on television, or someone that's inspired me. So you get the best of the best as far as I'm concerned. I don't bring on just anybody. And I also appreciate your willingness to play with me at this level, to listen to Law of Attraction, to appease me, and to continually want to increase our vibrational frequencies together so we can manifest the perfect life experience, which includes contrast, of course. Contrast always will happen. It's how resilient we are in dealing with the ebbs and flow of it, how we transform it, how we use it to expand and to continue to open our hearts even more every day and experience love and joy as much as we possibly can. I appreciate you. Thank you again for tuning in to Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. If you're inspired and want more, come on over to fit2love.tv and check out our Freedom Fridays, or find us on iTunes. More at Fit to Love, physical, emotional, and spiritual fitness for the happy life you deserve.